guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be 3 easy dinner recipes that I'm going to be sharing with you guys because I know we're all looking for new things to eat right now. Eating the same things gets old so fast, so hopefully I can give you all new ideas. Also, today's video is in collaboration with my new friend here on YouTube, Taylor Gorman. She is so sweet. She's going to be doing 3 dinner recipes as well, so you guys will have more options. She's a new mama YouTuber and she makes motherhood and lifestyle content on her channel as well, such as day in the life and routine videos. So please go make sure to check her out and let her know that I sent you. Subscribe to her channel. You guys will love her just as much as I do. So let's jump right into the first meal. So for the first meal, I'm making taco stuffed bell peppers. My family loves this recipe. We make it all the time. It's so easy and it's also a healthier option. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just cut out the center of the bell peppers and take out the seeds, and then we cut the peppers in half. After that, we put them in the baking dish and cover them with foil before we put them in the oven on 350 while we prepare everything else. I start the rice next so it can cook covered on low for 15 minutes while I cook the beef mixture. We like to use turkey meat for this meal, but if you prefer ground beef, that works too. Now I'm just cooking the onions, and I typically add minced garlic in with this, but we didn't have any at the time, so I just added a little garlic salt for flavor. Tyler was helping me this night with a camera, so I figured I would add this in here for you guys. But once I have the meat cooked, I drain the grease and then I add the onions. The seasonings I use for this meal is just 1 teaspoon of chili powder, a half teaspoon of paprika, and some salt and pepper. The next thing I do is add 1 can of corn and 1 can of black beans after they've been rinsed and drained. Then I add 1 cup of salsa. Once that's done, the rice should be finished, so I add that in last. Now I'm just adding the beef mixture to the peppers and then putting them back in the oven to cook for 15 more minutes. And this is how it turned out. It was so good. For the second night, I made creamy Parmesan chicken and rice, which is one of our all-time favorites. The first thing I do is add 4 tablespoons of butter to a pot on medium-high heat until it's mostly melted. Once the butter's melted, I add half an onion and cook it for 2 to 3 minutes. And then when the onions are cooked, I add the diced chicken. The only seasonings I use for this meal is 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning and some salt and pepper. Once the chicken is cooked, I add 2½ teaspoons of minced garlic and cook for 1 more minute. Now I'm adding 2½ cups of chicken broth and 1 cup of white rice. After it starts to boil, I turn the heat down to medium-low and cover for 17 minutes. Kyler also requested green beans again this night. After it's simmered, I'll take some out for Kyler before we add the Parmesan and heavy cream. If you're new to my channel, my son Kyler has a small allergy to dairy, eggs, and peanuts. I'm sure he's outgrown them, but we haven't had him tested again, so he will eat his without it. For the Parmesan and heavy cream, I'm adding a ½ cup of each, and I did want to let you guys know that this was our favorite meal out of all 3, and you guys definitely need to try it. For the third night, I made chicken casserole. I did it a little differently this night. We normally don't add the ranch seasoning or the bacon. It was good, but if I ever make it again, I'll only add half the ranch packet. But the first thing that I do is just dice the chicken, and Tyler ended up taking over for me because I had Kyler in his carrier and it was pretty difficult. So once he was done cutting the chicken, I added it to the pan with some olive oil and cooked it before adding it in with the other ingredients. Once that's done, everything else is so easy. So now I'm just going to add all the ingredients to a bowl, and I add the chicken first and then a cup and a half of cheddar cheese. Now I'm adding 1 packet of ranch seasoning. One cup of bacon. A cup and a half of sour cream. And 1 can of chicken broth. Before you add all of your ingredients, you want to spray your baking dish with Pam. For the cracker toppings, I melt a 1/4 cup of butter in a bowl and then crush a cup and a half of crackers to add to the baking dish. When I'm finished, I put it in the oven on 350 for 30 minutes. I also wanted to mention that this night I made Kyler something else because he can't have most of these ingredients, which he was more than fine with. Okay, you guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Please make sure you give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.